I'd like to introduce our next guest, Charlotte Wood, Commercial Manager at Mainstay Marine Solutions. Charlotte acts as Commercial Manager at Mainstay Marine Solutions, a leading marine engineering firm in Pembroke Dock, South West Wales. As a key member of the senior management team, she's responsible for all commercial activities of the company's portfolio of commercial workboat building, marine engineering, and marine renewable energy products. Charlotte has recently been appointed to the board of the NSO's Shipbuilding Enterprise for Growth. So please welcome Charlotte to the stage. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. As Peter said, my name is Charlotte Wood, and I'm the Commercial Manager at Mainstay Marine Solutions, or Mainstay, as I will allude to later on. I would like to thank the National Shipbuilding Office and SMI for inviting me to speak and exhibit here today. It is a privilege to be able to share our perspective on the current state of the sector. And so to support this presentation, I've developed a SWOT-like analysis looking at the sector's strengths and opportunities, weaknesses and threats, or challenges, as I prefer to name them. But before I proceed, I would like you to note that my perspective reflects Mainstay views only. I am not speaking on behalf of all UK boatyards and shipyards, but I am confident that many of the themes I will discuss today will resonate with others in the industry. So to start with strengths and opportunities, my first point, our rich maritime history. The UK boasts a significant shipbuilding heritage that should not be overlooked. Our historical expertise and craftsmanship are pillars of strength in this sector. We must nurture this niche form of manufacturing in a modern society. But keeping a pace with rapid technological developments is crucial. Yards need to continually adopt advanced manufacturing techniques, digitalisation and automation to enhance efficiency and competitiveness. However, many ageing shipyards require modernisation and investment. Upgrading facilities, dry docks and equipment is essential to maintain competitive. My second point, leadership in vessel modernisation. The vessels we are seeing today have some of the most advanced propulsion, navigation and communication systems on board available in the world today. Our commitment to automation and alternative fuels positions us at the forefront of maritime advancement. Research, investment and R&D are critical for seizing those opportunities in UK shipbuilding for the global marketplace. Thirdly, diversity and versatility. As Rod said, ship and boat building cater to a wide range of sectors, including the likes of environmental survey, defence, patrol, leisure, food, trade and energy production. Our adaptability across these domains is a key strength. Furthermore, shipbuilding requires a unique blend of traditional craftsmanship and advanced skill sets, from fabrication to sophisticated mechanical and electrical engineering. Our workforce's dynamic knowledge base is essential for driving growth and maximising efficiency improvements across the sector. And most importantly, we are seeing strong demand signals. As an island nation, the UK's reliance on maritime transportation is unwavering. An ambitious UK national shipbuilding strategy is crucial for instilling confidence amongst yards. In the private sector, we are also seeing significant demand sectors such as offshore wind, where approximately 30 crew transfer vessels are expected to be required annually for the next decade in UK and European waters alone. There is potential for vessel construction to become a substantial UK export stream. Collaborative efforts are necessary to restore British manufacturing on the global stage. But with all sectors, ship and boat building has its challenges. Whilst you will note I listed skills as one of the sector's strengths, conversely, this is one area which I feel is at most risk. Maintaining a diverse skill set has become increasingly challenging, as Paul has already alluded to. Brexit has hindered our ability to employ labour from the outside the UK during peak times, and with the issue further exacerbated by projects like Hinkley Point, offering inflated wages, reportedly up to £80,000 annually for a mid-level welder, which have led to a reduction in trade availability, impacting all manufacturers. The immediate need for skilled workers is pressing. Mainstay are attempting to mitigate this through our education programme for young people aged 4 to 18, our apprenticeship programme, our bursary scheme for industry-related university students. And we've also begun developing the concept of a Mainstay Skills Academy or welding school. This programme would target the unemployed and those interested in career changes, such as ex-forces personnel. And we urge the government to support such programmes like this in any way possible. But finally, in terms of skills, we have to be honest with ourselves. The sector lacks allure and appeal. Changing the perception of shipbuilding as an outdated and unattractive industry is crucial. We need an effective sector-wide marketing campaign promoting shipbuilding as a dynamic, innovative field with exciting career prospects to attract new talent. My second point is the cyclical nature of shipbuilding. The shipbuilding industry is characterised by unpredictable demand patterns. These fluctuations can hinder momentum and the ability to maximise production efficiencies, and in more extreme cases, places immense pressure on companies' financial stability. Having in-depth insight into the UK shipbuilding pipeline is crucial. Supply chain. Ensuring a robust supply chain for shipbuilding materials, components and systems is critical. Disruptions due to political tensions, natural disasters or pandemics can significantly affect production schedules. During COVID, we experienced just that. Some engine suppliers were on 65-week lead times, and aluminium and steel suppliers were holding prices for a maximum of 3 days. With severe liquidated damages imposed on shipyards for late delivery, these supply chain challenges can be catastrophic. Non-UK yard competition. The rapid expansion of shipbuilding capabilities, particularly in Asia, has put immense pressure on UK yards. With government-backed financial packages in place to reduce purchasers' perceived risk, and with inherently lower overheads, UK yards have become vastly less competitive as a result. What is encouraging, however, is that when considering the total overall cost of a vessel build, including those hidden costs like insurance, project management, and transportation, the price delta is significantly reduced. It is essential that we promote the importance of quality British manufacturing and its associated after-sales and ongoing warranty provision over price. At Seawick this year, Mainstay launched its crew transfer vessel or CTV base model concept, providing a flexible and economically viable UK-built CTV solution. By leveraging the expertise of our seasoned production and design teams, and from the lessons learned from the CTV currently in sea trials, we have identified opportunities to reduce construction costs without compromising quality. With a starting cash price of 4.5 million, we believe we have a competitive product offering that will strengthen the current domestic shipbuilding market. However, we also need government backing, which leads me on to my penultimate point, in terms of financial support. We need a government-backed risk reduction scheme that is equivalent to those provided by the Dutch and Asian yards, for without it, we remain on different and inferior playing field. Simply, we need to be able to provide our prospective clients with a comparative commercial offer if we are to remain at the table. And my final point, at present, public sector shipbuilding procurement does not always work. Whilst I do empathise with purchasing teams, as there are numerous parameters to consider when commissioning a new vessel, which sometimes may only happen every 10 to 15 years, an overhaul of the current UK system is essential to ensure a fair, efficient and competitive procurement. From Yard's perspective, I would suggest the following. Clearer guidelines on what we are bidding for. Recently, an authority, which I'm not going to name, went out to tender for the design and build of a replacement vessel, which was very technically very ill-defined. The scope merely stated the vessel could be between 8 and 15 metres, possibly electric, maybe diesel. No budget was allocated, and yet we were asked to provide a fixed price quotation. For those of you who may be more technically inclined than myself will know that the size of the vessel can greatly affect the price point, and the introduction of alternative propulsion methods can significantly impact the cost. Essentially, the vessel could be anywhere between £200,000 or £1 million. In another recent authority bid, again, naming no names, there was no mention within the ITT of how each of the tender submissions would be marked or scored and what weighting would be given to each section, which made it very difficult to ascertain exactly what would be scored against. There were no questions pertaining to the vessel itself, and we were not allowed to send any additional documentation, so we had no real means of demonstrating the technical solution we would be providing for the price. Unsurprisingly, we did not win this. But we did later find out that the purchasing authority had chosen to go back to their previous builder. Very regularly, we find ourselves requesting the most fundamental information up front, like what is your powering requirement? Do you have a general arrangement drawing? Just for us to quote against, which can take several days or even weeks to get a reply on, with tender deadlines not extended to compensate. Of greater concern is the repeated failure to provide clarification responses to all bidders, which does raise questions about the fairness and the equality of the bidding processes. Streamlining of tender qualification. With each authority or prime asking slightly different questions, this can become a major administration task. I see no reason why it could not become mandatory that a standard set of questions pertaining to a yard's facilities, previous experience, capabilities, and financial stability could not become established for all government, prime, and public sector bodies to use. My third point, there needs to be far less bureaucracy. Yards like ourselves simply cannot spend weeks and months navigating through extensive red tape. For larger multi-vessel contracts, it is only really conceivable for large primes and multi-site shipyards with plentiful in-house bidding resources. In a recent government marketing activity, and I'm going to slightly exaggerate here, I honestly felt like I was participating in an episode of The Crystal Maze. I had to download a portal, obtain a portal key, request an NDA, sign said NDA, submit NDA via email to have a webinar link sent via the portal. Again, I'm exaggerating, and this was all just to listen to what the authority was considering going out to tender for, which wouldn't happen for another 2 to 6 years' time. Furthermore, the NDA stated that only those who signed it could view the webinar. Now, with all the will in the world, there is no way I could develop a bid without discussing it with our technical and production and finance teams first. Whilst we understand the need to prevent sensitive information from falling into the wrong hands in today's world, the information provided in this particular webinar was no more commercially sensitive than had I Googled what vessels does the UK government currently own. There needs to be a common sense approach to how the government engages with industry, which brings me on to my final and last point. My last but one point, a common sense approach to risk. There has been inherent risk associated with boat building for a very long time. However, with the sufficient financial due diligence, there is no reason why a build of the quality shipyard should be considered any riskier than any other manufacturer in any other sector. Additionally, the stipulation from many purchasers, both private and public, to require bonds or builders' guarantees not only increases overall costs for the purchaser, but also reduces much-needed working capital for the yards. We need government understanding and support on this. Many tenderers also stipulate very large minimum turnover thresholds, which was spoken about earlier, which can and does prohibit yards like ours from tendering. About 4 years ago, a government body issued a £20 to £24 million tender for 6 vessels to be delivered over a 4-year period. However, the documentation stipulated that yards needed to have a minimum turnover 3 times the value of the entire contract. Had the minimum turnover requirement been applied directly to the output expected per year and not for the entire contract, we would have been eligible to bid and would have been more than comfortable to deliver on it. So I'm very encouraged to hear the NSO are looking into this. We've also encountered several tenders where 0% payment is requested upon contract signing, as purchasers feel they need to see some tangible progress on the shop floor before making a payment. For some projects, depending on whether there is an upfront design requirement, this could be some months later. The reality, on day one of the contract, the yard will have outgoing expenses that still need to be accounted for, whether that be taking on additional staff, contracting design houses, setting up project management processes, and more so ordering of long lead items. Even if those long lead item deposits are not overly punitive, although they generally are, by placing a purchase order, the yard is at that stage committing to a contract and essentially exposed. The transactional nature of boat building needs to be acknowledged by the government and primes. And finally, this is my most crucial point I wish to emphasise today. We need a UK-first collaborative approach. If you take anything from this today, please let it be this. There is a widespread misconception that few to no UK yards are capable of bidding for larger multi-lot contracts. This is unequivocally incorrect if approached on a collaborative basis. There is absolutely no reason why large multiple build orders could not be distributed among several yards, either directly or via a prime. If government departments do not seriously consider this in its future pipeline, we miss a critical opportunity and the much-needed catalyst for the revival of great British shipbuilding. So to wrap this up, and on a far more positive note, it will take vision, energy and extreme tenacity to restore British shipbuilding to its former glory. I am greatly encouraged by the establishment of the NSO and its continued engagement with the sector. My being asked to speak here today and being given the green light to highlight those challenges is testament to that. But we still have a long way to go. I urge all stakeholders to continually feed into the NSO. Continued government support, funding and a clear policy framework are essential to drive investment, research and the development in shipbuilding. If we all continue to work to our strengths and address the challenges openly and frankly, we are the foundation for a vibrant sector once more. I'd like to thank the NSO for inviting me to speak here again. I do fear it might be my last. And I look forward to contributing to the panel and networking with you all later. Thank you.